Hello my friends, welcome back to another tutorial. I hope you're all keeping very well and doing very well out there. And I hope you're all creating some beautiful artworks and learning a lot in the process. This time on the channel, I'm going to paint this beautiful moonlight scene. I put it up on my post on Patreon for you all to see. And I am going to try and simplify this for you, but it's such a lovely scene, isn't it? The moon on the water, dark sky, some hills in the distance, some trees. So this is going to be fun. I think we'll enjoy this one. And again, I'll try and simplify it for you, but I'm going to show you about mixing different shades of blue. So really, all you want is a couple of colours. Maybe two different blues, a black, a white. That's about it. Maybe a Naples yellow. But we'll have a bit of fun mixing different shades of blue, lights and darks, soft, cools. So let's have a bit of fun with this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for your support. I do sincerely appreciate this, and thank you to all my newcomers as well. A big welcome to you all. I hope you're enjoying the channel so far, and I hope you're learning something about painting. You know, just a little bit of inspiration, I find, goes a very long way. Don't you agree? Anyway, let's go. Come on, let's have a bit of fun with this. I'm eager to get started. All right, my friends, here we go. This is my canvas. It's a 16 by 12 board, and I'm just going to give this a very light rub of sandpaper, okay? Because I did prime this with 1/4 primer. Just a regular water-based primer, all right? Just a cheap, quick primer. And what I'm going to do next is just do a quick sketch, a very quick sketch of some lines, just a couple of lines. Okay, so let's just say we have some trees coming along here like this. We have a bit of a hill going up like that, don't we? And we have mountains. We don't need to worry about those. We have a little bit of land here with some trees, don't we? Just go like that. That's all I need to do. I'm going to take a bit of tissue and a little bit of linseed oil. All right, now I get a lot of questions about this. Let me just fix the camera here now. Let me just move it slightly so you can see the palette properly. There we go. I get a lot of questions about what I use before, for blending and stuff like that. All I use, my friends, is a little bit of linseed oil. Look, artist linseed oil. Just take a bit on a tissue like this and give it a quick rub wherever you're painting. If it's a big sky or an ocean or whatever, give it just a very quick once over with this, just a little bit. Look, that's all. That's loads. That's all we need, and that just helps the paint move around lovely. And it's kind of lovely and oily, but it's not too oily. It's just enough, I think. It's really nice. I'm going to take a big brush and I'm going to dampen it very slightly, just ever so slightly. I'm going to go right into, now we have a lovely moon in the sky, so let's start off with a nice light blue, a hint of a greeny blue, okay? I'm going to take titanium white, a little bit of phthalo blue, and to knock that back because it's very rich, I'm going to take some Naples yellow, okay? Now that will go kind of a greeny blue, a lovely turquoisey sort of a greeny blue. Take some more white. Let's have a look and see. I think a bit lighter even, a bit more white. Now let's just be nice and loose with this, nice and quick, We don't want to spend too much time going down into the nitty gritty with all of this. We just want to just kind of have a bit of fun with the painting. Now a bit more phthalo blue, and look, a little bit darker up on top. Now if you find this a bit too rich, you can knock it back slightly, maybe a touch of black, and that will knock it back. That's a better colour. I think I like that colour. So I'm going to go with a little bit of black, some phthalo blue, a little bit of white. I think that will give me a nicer shade. Now I also have maybe a touch of Naples yellow as well. I also have a little cerulean blue there as well. Just in case we want to just mix it up a bit and add some different shades into the painting. That's always nice. I think it's nice to have the option of having the colour on your palette. I think it is. Because, you see, I'll take a little bit of cerulean, tiny touch of black, and that gives me a very similar shade as well, you see. And you can see how the layer of linseed oil on the canvas is just allowing me to blend these lovely across together. I'm not having to, you know the way sometimes when you paint on a dry canvas, you really have to drag the brush a lot. This avoids all of that, which is really nice. Now I'm going to just start going darker up towards the top. I'm going to chance a little bit of phthalo blue. We could try a bit of burnt umber in this. So you can see these few colours, you can make so many different shades, and you can use any combination of colours to get a very similar colour. So phthalo blue with Naples yellow is very similar to phthalo blue with a little burnt umber. It's just a darker shade. You see what I mean? It's just a nice rich darker shade. So you can mess around and you can try different mixes with this. I just want a nice and dark up along the top. You know, we have this beautiful, it's a nighttime sky. All right, so it's going to be dark, isn't it? Oh, just not down around the bottom where the moon is. I want to leave that bright to get the effect of the luminous sky from the moon. I'm going to go a bit darker now again. Phthalo blue, a little bit of lamp black. So you'll see how I started off with my lightest shade. The reason for that, and it's the same with sunsets and stuff as well, sometimes, most of the time it is, I generally start with my lighter shades because it's much easier to go from light to dark than it is to go from dark to light. All right. If I put on this very dark and then I put light on, I'll be here forever trying to lighten the colour. And I think you have a lot more control when you work from light to dark, especially for a sky like this. You have a lot more control over your colours. So you can see if it goes on a bit too dark, you can lighten it immediately. It's much easier to darken a colour than it is to lighten a colour in oil painting, especially in oil painting. Acrylics is fine because they dry very quickly, but for oils, with a sky like this, I will generally go from light to my dark colours. Now that's fine. I'm going to start putting in some clouds, so we have darker shades again. Let's try some cerulean blue, some burnt umber. That gives us a green and a little bit of a black in there. And a touch of phthalo blue perhaps, just to, you know, I want this rich sort of a grey, greeny shade for a cloud. It's a very dark shade. I'm just kind of picking up tiny bits of colour just to try. Let me try that now. I'm going to just go in here. Just see that little cloud we have there? Let's just dab that on. A little bit like that. And it's very sort of random, I find, up here. It seems very random or something. There's just, over here, there's a big blob of cloud, isn't there? Come down here and leave it just kind of filter away, just dabbing it around here and there, look. Let's just kind of have a bit of freedom and let's just have a little bit of fun, so to speak. Phthalo blue, a little bit of black, tiny bit of black. That's giving us a nice cloud now, isn't it? Now, a bit more black, a bit more phthalo blue. I'm getting a little bit richer for this side over here. Maybe a bit more on the blue side, even. Then it comes up like that and goes out of the painting, doesn't it? So we already have a nice little sky going here. Nice, rich clouds. Let that disappear off, leave it just soften away as it comes down, and let's go over and darken the one just on the right hand side here as well. Look, a little bit of blue in there. Let's pop that in there like that. It can come up into the corner. You know, we're just really going to town now, just having a bit of fun with all of this. Just a bit of fun, that's all. Now already, it looks quite nice, doesn't it? I'm going to go up into that corner with a bit of rich colour. A bit of phthalo blue, maybe a bit of cerulean. Just to give that a bit of a cooler shade. Just up in the corner, that's all. And I think we're good at that. I'm going to clean my brush very quickly. Wipe that on some tissue. Take most of the blue off your brush. Doesn't have to be spotless. And I am then... Let me see now. You know what? Let's get a soft blender brush. And let's blend together from the light part. Start from the light so you don't dirty that part of the sky look. So it's nice and clean. And then we come over and we start softening some of these. This brush I'm using is just a simple makeup brush. A very soft makeup brush, okay? If you or your partner are using makeup brushes, just go and grab one. Say nothing, just blame me. Say, Stephen, the artist, told me to use one of these, so I need to take one. Okay? Just blame me. It's okay. They're cheap, I think. Let's start putting in some light. Okay? A little bit of light. Nice small brush. Let's try some cerulean blue with a little white. I think that might make a nice light shade for the clouds. Let's go up and just start putting them in like this, very loosely. You see, I'm just kind of catching the underside of the cloud. Same here, just a little bit like that, around the edges. There's that sort of halo around the edges of the cloud. Now, a bit of Naples yellow with that colour. That gives it another little bit of a brighter shade. And it disappears off over here, look. And this is the thing about oil painting, okay? When you put the marks on with your brush, it looks rough like this. But I promise, as soon as we go and soften all of this in, you're going to see a huge difference in all of this. Unbelievable difference. So don't get phased, all right? Don't think that this doesn't look nice. When it's blended, it's going to look fabulous, all right? A little bit of light over here for this one. And then I'm going to take some Naples yellow, maybe just clean my brush quickly. Tiny bit of Naples, lots of white. And I'm going to come down and just add a hint of light. Let's imagine there's some clouds way off in the distance down here. Way, way off. Now stop at that. Again, keeping it nice and simple. Let's soften these from the edges in, okay? Now you can't just go across it if you like, if that's the way you like to do it, but I'm just going to gently soften them back. But I'm trying to leave some of the edges. Do you understand what I mean? I like that nice crisp edge. It's quite nice. So we'll just soften them back in ever so slightly. And come down and soften everything across. Now, how was that? Now, that's not bad, is it? That's quite nice, I think. Let me clean my brush. I'm going to take some phthalo blue, tiniest bit, loads of white. I'm going to come down here, and where the moon is, let's say the moon is up here, I'm going to just put a very light blue in here, like this, okay? This is going to be the sort of the halo around the moon first. So I'm just going to soften this out. You see how I keep going? Bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Very gently lifting your brush off as you get wider and wider. So you're softening it right out. And then, you take our blender brush again, give it a quick clean. We just kind of soften that across. Just, you see what I mean? Soften it out. So that's the beginning of our moon. Take that flat brush again, nice and dry. Get some white. Let's go in here with some white. In fact, a little touch of Naples yellow will help. That will give you this luminous kind of a moon in the sky. You see what I mean? So what we actually have is a bright whitey kind of a yellow. Does that make sense? Now I'm going to then dry my brush on some tissue, just most of the paint. And then I'm going to soften the edge of that again with the bristles, just with 2 or 3 bristles of your brush. Just catch the paint and soften it upwards. You see what I mean? I just want to get that nice soft effect. We can do the same thing with our blender brush, just very gently pulling it out, look, from the center outwards. So we're basically going brighter and brighter and brighter until we end up in the center with that nice bright spot like this, look. I don't like painting moons as a solid circle. I like to have it faded like this. I think it just makes all the difference to a painting. It really does. Just going to, again, soften that out. Finally, one small dab of white paint just in the middle. Oh, let's sit back and take a look. I think that looks quite nice. Quite nice indeed. I'm just going to fix the camera very slightly now because it's kind of going off up, isn't it? I'm using a different stand today, so it's very sort of messy. But that's okay now, I'm happy with that. Let's move on to our mountains. And this is where we tend to kind of speed up a little bit. So we're going to speed up now just ever so slightly with the mountains and all the trees and stuff like that. So this is the most complicated part is probably done here. Let's make a nice mountain color. Some black, some cerulean blue, a bit of phthalo, and a bit of white. Let me just have a look at this now. And a bit of Naples yellow as well. That makes a nice soft color for a distant hill. Let's have a look and just make up one. Let's just make up one ourselves, look. Let's go up like that. And then over and down. Okay? Nice and simple. I'm not copying the photograph exactly. We can do all this the way we want to do it. Okay, my friends? There we go. That's one mountain in. We have a darker one cutting in front of that one. So a bit of more blue, more black. And let's just go like that. Give it a wiggle as it comes across. That's another one done. Now what you can do, if you take your smaller brush, take some of that white, maybe a hint of the Naples yellow, and you could hit that with a little light. Maybe the moon is reflecting some light onto this one, here and there. And we could do the same with this one. Just take a little bit of a white or something, add a little lightness into it. The next one, we have a dark row of trees. Let's go nice and dark with this. We have phthalo blue, some cerulean blue, and a little black. Now the colours that you see on the photograph could be slightly different to my painting because I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at the photograph on the phone, but the colours are always slightly different when I upload the photograph. Do you understand what I mean? I think you do. They may look slightly different to you. Now, the tops of the trees, you take a rough brush like this, okay? And simply, on its edge, like this, just go. Like that, okay? Dab, dab, dab. Using the kind of the flat side, the flat edge of your brush. Just bring it up and down, okay? Just like that, you see? That gives you a nice edge for a row of trees, doesn't it? You can come over here a little bit more, just leave that disappear into the hillside. Fill this in. And we go again, using the edge of the brush just to create some nice little treetops. And the nice thing about this is you can see it's mixing into the white from the sky. So we're getting lovely shades. We're getting natural lights and darks. You see what I mean? So I'm picking up the brightness and I'm transferring it down. So it's creating, you see these lovely natural highlights. Now I think that looks just wonderful. Already a beautiful, beautiful row of trees off in the distance. And maybe take a hint of a black or something, just a nice dark colour, just to sit those down towards the bottom and soften it up ever so slightly. You see, push it up. Now we're moving on to the trees on this side. It's the very same thing, only in bigger numbers, all right? So, some black, a bit of phthalo blue perhaps, a little bit of cerulean blue, a nice rich deep colour. Let's just go our own here. So I'm going to start around here, okay? I'm going to just go down like this first. And the way I create these trees, you see a lot of people using the fan brush and all of that. I like to use these brushes, and what I tend to do is, you can see the brush there now, okay? It's sort of dry, but it's opened up slightly. I just go down to the side like this. And just get it wider and wider as it comes down, and narrower up at the top. Did you see that? There's one nice little tree. And we need to be a bit darker than this, don't we? It needs to be nice and dark. So plenty of blue, plenty of black, bit of burnt umber as well, just to warm it slightly. And we go for another one up here, leaning on the edge of the brush and just going sort of in and out, sort of a very random in and out kind of a motion. You see what I mean? I just like to keep it simple. There's no point in doing very complicated trees for this kind of subject. I think the simple ones are sometimes the best. For this up here, I'm just going to go dab, 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 just to fill the area in completely. Allow some foliage to come out like that. Okay. Now, fill this in. I just want to fill this area in a very dark colour. Remember, it's just a mixture of blue and black, cerulean blue with black. It's a mixture of 2 or 3 different shades of dark colours. Just have a bit of fun with this yourselves and see what you can come up with, okay? So now we have this lovely dark mass on one side. Again, a bit of black, a bit of phthalo blue. And I'm going to just pick out some more of the foliage on this tree here. You see, just with the corner of the brush. I'm dabbing at an angle, that's all I'm doing. You see what I mean? There won't be much in the way of detail in this because it's in the shade. Now I've cleaned my brush. I'm taking a touch of cerulean blue. If you don't have cerulean, just use phthalo, okay? A little bit of white. I'm going to just add a little highlight onto some of these. You see that? Small little bit of a highlight. It's just catching the light from the moon ever so slightly. Little bit here and there. And we can suggest a few sort of bushes and stuff down at the bottom here, look, catching the light. And that's absolutely fine. I'll soften this back in just a little. I might take a bit of burnt umber and black and just dab that down the bottom, just to sit that down, create a little bit of a sort of a, let's say a river bank or something like that, just along the bottom, okay? And then there might be a little bit of light going on down there. There could be little bits of rock or something like that. Look, just little touches of something. All I'm doing here, my friends, is I'm suggesting to the viewer that there's little things going on. That's all I'm doing really. I'm going to come over and do these trees over here. It's the very same technique. Okay, bit of black, bit of phthalo blue, bit of cerulean blue, and maybe a hint of burnt umber. A bit of thinners in this one. Let's start with the centers of the trees. Okay, get the centers up. One there. We put one here. We'll put one here, and another one here. And maybe just one or two small ones off in the distance. And what I do then is simply, again, starting with the smaller ones, go at an angle like this, just dab, 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 dab at an angle. If you want to use a fan brush for this, by all means, use a fan brush, okay? It's absolutely fine. Just use whatever you're comfortable with, okay? Because I know a lot of people may find this part of the painting difficult. I understand that. And because of that, I may even start using a fan brush in just a moment. But you can see all I'm doing is creating an impression. It's just a loose impression of some trees. That's all it is, okay? It's just to show you kind of quickly how you can create these trees with a flat brush. It doesn't always have to be, you know, your fan brush or a palette knife or something like that. They can be done with just a brush like this and made to look quite nice. Now, a little bit of a darker colour in down the bottom here. Just because it goes in down into the shade, and we'll darken them all the way across. Look, let's just darken them out, nice and dark. We have these ones over here. Let's just put a suggestion in here as well. I'm the type of artist who just, I really love making suggestions of things rather than spending, you know, 2 hours painting one tree or or an hour painting a load of leaves, little dots and things. I prefer just to make it a nice simple impression. I think it's just much nicer to look at. Bit of darker now here, look, nice and dark. Let's get nice and dark down here. Because it's really in the shade down here, isn't it? It's very dark all the way across here. It's almost like a massive dark colour all the way across. So I'm just going to dab it down, bring them all down, let them sit down. Maybe add 1 or 2 more just there like that. And I'm happy with that. I'm fairly happy. I'm going to add a little touch of light onto some of those. I'll try a little bit of cerulean blue with a little white, or a bit of phthalo blue with some white. And just to add a little hint of light onto some of them, just to break them up ever so slightly. Now, you could probably mistake this even for a little bit of snow, but who cares? All right, honestly, who cares? This is our painting. We'll do with this as we please. I think it's coming on quite nice, don't you? All we have left, my friends, is the water. And this, honestly, is probably the easiest part of the painting. And I know a lot of you probably struggle with this type of stuff. I'm going to simplify this for you. Okay, let's go, come on. Phthalo blue, bit of white. Okay, let's try that. That's a bit rich, isn't it? Take more white, a touch of Naples yellow, just to tone it down slightly, look. There we go. Let's cut across. We stop there, and we go in here and we wiggle the brush in towards that bank. As it comes out to the sides, you can see it gets much darker, doesn't it? So we go into some black, phthalo blue. And I must get more blue on my palette. It's running low, isn't it? Phthalo blue, I need some of that on my palette. So let's grab some phthalo, a little bit of black, over here, make this nice and dark. Soften it right across into the middle. As long as you have a nice light section in the middle, it's fine, okay? Doesn't matter which way you do this. I just want a nice light in the middle. I brought some phthalo blue into this on the brush, and the point is all the colours are mixing on the canvas. That's the point, okay? Flicking it left and right, just to blend it through. Get some nice colours mixing. Already, that looks quite nice, doesn't it? This is where the fun comes in. We need some reflections, don't we? Grab some phthalo blue, a little bit of lamp black. Okay, nice, strong, thick mixture. And I'm just going to simply, wherever the trees are, pull down vertically. There we go. Now plenty of this colour, okay? Plenty of black in this. The same for the other side. Plenty of black, plenty of blue. Wherever you see the trees, just put a little bit there, okay? So for the centre of the tree there, for instance, okay? Another one here. Just a little bit with the corner of the brush. As you go over, pull that down where they meet. I'm going to stop there and I'm going to soften. Now, the technique for this is simply pull down first. Quite simple. You've probably seen lots of artists do this. Pull it down and then go across. And I'm going across into the painting, okay? I'm not going out of the painting, I'm going into the painting. Where they meet, soften them, and then come along, drag it across like that, okay? Now, doesn't that look like a nice reflection? I think that looks very captivating or something. There's something about it, isn't there? The last step is a reflection of our moon. Let's grab this flat palette knife. You see this one? Okay. They're readily available everywhere. You can find these palette knives all over the place. Okay. Every craft shop will have one for you. Take a bit of white. Let's go over and go up here like this. Come across and then come around like so. And then leave it, taper off. Now the trick to this for me, I find, is holding my knife at a very shallow angle, okay, and scraping across, but I'm allowing the canvas itself to take off the paint, okay? I'm not pressing on it. I'm just very lightly scraping against the canvas like this, look. And you can see the way it's just hit and miss. It's kind of just taking some off in certain spots only. I'm going to try a touch of Naples yellow in this. Tiniest touch. Just to give it a little bit more luminosity. Now, where the moon is, right directly under that, let's just go like this, look. Now, my board is in the way. I need to move my canvas board out ever so slightly so I can get right down to the bottom. Simply go along like this. You know, how far you want to go with this is completely up to yourself. I would say maybe don't overdo it too much too soon. All right, we'll stop at that. And I'm very gently going to soften the edges outwards like this, look, into the water. very gently. I'll do the same on this side. You see I'm just barely catching the paint with my soft brush, dragging it across. Just being careful to make sure that it's straight, nice and horizontal. It's very easy to wiggle this by accident and it goes in the wrong direction. Okay, it's very easy for that to happen. Now, I would say this is quite nice, don't you think? I would be quite happy with this. It's up to you when you want to stop doing this, okay? Completely up to you. We could even go like this. And then go over it left and right, left and right. That's just another way you can create that reflection as well. There are lots of different ways of doing this. I'm going to come over here with a little bit, create a little bit of a bank in here. Just a subtle little bank, maybe just a little bit across here as well. And I just want to get a little bit of a shimmer on the water through the reflection. It's just to break up the reflection slightly, that's all. Now, I may have even gone too far with this. Let me just soften it and see. I think that's all right. And my friends, how was that? I kept it nice and simple. I didn't want to go over the top with all of this. You know me, I like to just keep things simple and not go over the top. I'm just going to put my signature down here and call this finished. And I'm quite happy with that. If you wanted to, you could put a bird up there somewhere, or you could darken the foliage a bit more if you want to make more of an impact. But I'm quite happy with that. Very, very happy indeed. So, there we go. I think that's quite nice. A lovely, impactful kind of a painting. If that had a nice bright white frame around it now, it would really catch your eye if it was hanging on a wall. The dark against the light. So it's like a fight on the canvas. The light is fighting against the dark to, gain more attention. And this is a perfect example of lights against darks. A very mysterious kind of a painting. And, nice simple techniques. I kept it simple, you see. I didn't go into any detail whatsoever, actually, with my little detail brush. There's no need if you just want to keep it nice and simple and a nice simple impression of this scene. I think it works, okay? I could quite easily sit here for another hour and paint little tree trunks and branches and highlights and all that, but it wouldn't look the same. It would look completely different and it might look overdone. So I'm happy with this as it is. I'm very happy. So I think it's been a success. Let me know what you think. And if you're trying this, pop it up on the Patreon post page. It should be there for you. And if you want to get opinions and advice, send it to me on email as well. I'd be happy to look at your work and give you some advice and just see how you're getting on. If you have any questions at all, please do feel free to ask. Don't be shy. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will be back very soon with another tutorial. God bless and happy painting.